The only reason why I'm saying this is because I wrote it, and that is insta-love. I will say, no, I am reformed, so that is very important to say.
No longer a full insta-love hater, but...
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Off Book with Simon Teen. Today, we're going to be talking all things writing, publishing, YA romance with author Ebony LaDelle, author of Love Radio and This Could Be Forever. I am Amy from Simon Teen, and today we also have...
James from Simon Teen. Excited to be joining the podcast.
And...
Ebony LaDelle.
Amazing. Okay, so before we get into our discussion, Ebony, do you want to give us just a little background on how you came to be in the publishing industry, not only as an author, but also as someone who has worked in the industry yourself?
Sure. So I came to New York, I got my master's in publishing, and then I got a job very shortly after at Simon & Schuster, funny enough. Simon & Schuster, they still have associates program, which for anybody who is interested in getting into publishing, I'm always going to hype up the associate program. It was my entry into this world, and I'm super grateful for it. And yeah, from there, I went to a few different publishing houses, worked with some incredible authors, some great books, and then decided that I still wanted to write my own. And so that's how I went from publishing professional to author.
Awesome. Great. So, okay, before we get into the Q&A portion of this episode, we wanted to have a little discussion about romance tropes because people have some big feelings about them.
Absolutely.
We polled our audience on Instagram, and there was a clear winner, but we wanted to talk through our favorites first.
Okay.
So, Ebony, what is your favorite romance trope?
My favorite romance trope is the fated mate. I just think, it's literally written in the stars. What could be better than that, than the universe conspiring to make sure two people come together? So, absolutely.
Also, a great plot device to let's drive things through.
Yes, absolutely.
No matter what, it has to happen. It's
going to happen.
Universe.
And so that is the happily ever after part that you're like, it's going to happen. But it's
yes.
Wow, what are the things that are going to happen to bring these people together?
The things they have to go through, but still come back together. That's a great one. Okay, James, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I would say my sleeper hit for me lately has been Opposites Attract, which was especially excited to read This Could Be Forever, because that is very Deja and Raja for sure. So, yeah.
That's a good one.
Awesome,
yeah.
Awesome one. Okay, and mine also kind of plays into This Could Be Forever. So one that I feel like sometimes gets a bad rap is... I feel like people often refer to it as insta-love or love at first sight, but I love it when two people see each other and they're just like, yeah, you know what? That's a person that I could hang out with and be best friends with and just fall in love with immediately. And I love it. I like some pining and some angst, but I don't know, when it's there from the very beginning and the chemistry is there and the attraction is there, I love it. And I feel like Raja and Deja, they had that too when they first meet in the tattoo parlor. And it's like, oh, look at that girl. She's gorgeous, which I love. But yeah, the winner, which is not really a surprise, I feel like to anyone, but enemies to lovers is for whatever reason the trope. It's I don't know if it's just right now or if it's always been.
Maybe it is.
Enemies to lovers, but... People love it.
I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's the vibe right now. People are like, you know what? I don't really like anyone. So at some point, one of these people are going to be the ones that I love.
It's true. The tension, I get it. I get it. The tension and the knife to throat of it all, but...
Sometimes literally.
Yeah, sometimes quite literally, but yeah, sometimes for me, I'm like, oh my, I don't just. It's too much. Nice. Yeah,
I think the frenemies to lovers is a nice balance too, because you're okay, you do kind of like this person, it's not so far fetched.
Good qualities. You're not.
But also, I will say, good enemies to lovers. When someone does it right, it's just chef's kiss.
It really is. It's true. It's hard to argue with.
Yeah.
I get why it's a favorite, but awesome. Okay. So the main event of this episode is our Q&A. So I'll run through these questions.
Okay.
And yeah, so you previously worked in publishing, like you mentioned, and now are on the author side of things. So do you feel that your time working in the industry has impacted how you view things, your journey as an author overall?
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons why I got into the industry, because of the love of reading and writing. Sure. And it was actually in undergrad when I worked at my campus bookstore that I actually realized, like, oh, you don't have to just be a writer to be a part of this industry. Like, you can also be on the back end doing the work. And that was me seeing publicists and marketers who were Black coming to the bookstore and talking to me about the industry. And that was what propelled me to be like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to work in the industry. And then working in it, I think just like learning everything about it, or learning as much as I could, and also having the representation to work with authors who were doing some of the things that I wanted to do, right? Like, even if the stories aren't exactly my stories, like there's also like a lot of shared cultural like moments within other books that I really appreciated, how they were able to stand in their truth and like promote and talk about their books was something very special to see. And, you know, I got a front row seat to that. So it really was inspiring. Even when I felt like, okay, maybe I don't want to be a writer anymore. I was trying to psych myself out. Seeing that really gave me I think the inspiration, the push I needed to say, no, you still want to do this and you still should. And you can do both.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, plus I also feel like having an understanding of the business side of publishing is so important too.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
some of it is like, unfortunately, a bit opaque still.
Yeah, so. I completely agree. And knowing like what to ask for, when, what to nudge, what to let go. I think sometimes authors come in and, you know, you're seeing everything on social media and there are things that are true and there are things that are not true, right? And so you can like get caught up in your head and like freak out about something that actually isn't what you think it is. And so it's nice to be able to say, no, you know how this goes. This is nothing. Let it go. You know, like this is not what you think it is. Don't worry about it. And it's helpful too, because I think sometimes authors will get advice from other authors who may not know certain aspects of the industry, or people who are new who may not know of certain aspects. And for me, I can like just give my own self-advice and be like, okay, this is how you should move forward, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And semi-related, so how did you navigate bringing creativity to both your writing as an author and to your industry day job?
I think it's different creative parts of me that work. Like, when I think of my day job, it allows me to be like on the business side, which I like. But then also like digging deep into a campaign or like conceptualizing a campaign is something that's always been fun to me. I love to be inspired by the work. And so it's funny when someone is asking me like, oh, you know, I want to be a writer, so how should I market my book? And I'm like, I don't know what the book is.
Yeah, true.
And I am not informed by just saying like, let me have this checklist of things that I want. It's more of like, let me see what the product is. Let me see what the author is. And let me figure out the best way to like put together a plan that works. And then for writing, I love it because it's completely different. I'm able to just I do it the same way in publishing, like, or in marketing, where I'm throwing everything at it. But it's really for writing, I can just like imagine something with no restrictions.
Yeah.
It is fully my work, you know? And so I'm able to write all the things that I want to write and pull out the things that I'm like, okay, that's not something that I want the world to see. This is something for myself. But it's beautiful in a different way because I'm just able to like be free in how I choose to tell a story. So yeah.
I imagine it must be so fun to be able to just go and not think like, oh, well, okay, which part of the budget is this coming from? And like, where are we gonna, I know, that's
completely
awesome.
Not the business side. And obviously, like, you know, now it's like, okay, you got to get back into the business side of things. But the creative part of it is just me sitting at a computer and just letting my imagination run wild. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so where do you find inspiration for your books? And that can either be for if there's something specific behind Love Radio, for This Could Be Forever. Where do you pull from?
I think for me, all of my inspiration comes from a want to see something that I haven't seen before. And, you know, I've said this with Love Radio, Black people are not a monolith. And so the experiences that Black writers are writing are, you know, in some ways similar, but in a lot of ways different, right? There's like nuance and nuance and nuance. So for me, with Love Radio, it was because I wanted to see a Black girl love a dawn. Like I wanted her, I said this on the tour, like I wanted, you know, Danny to be, she's the star of the show. So I wanted her to be seen in a way where it's like on the page in the beginning, she might not come off as the most likable, but then when you realize what has been going on with her, you understand why. And regardless of what, you know, the reader may think, Prince knows her, you know, like he's been on her. And so he loves her from, like, he's always loved her. And so he wants to pursue her. And so that's what I wanted to show. Two Black teenagers falling in love. I wanted them to fall in love. The backdrop of, you know, community and love. And for me, that was in a Black city. And so it was really like showing the full spectrum of Black love. For This Could Be Forever, it came from a need of wanting to see a Black girl in a interracial, multicultural relationship and what that looks like, particularly for Black girls and Black women dating. There was a stat years ago from OkCupid that said Black women and Asian men are the least desirable on dating apps. And that sat with me for years and years. I think that stat was so long ago. But I'm also trying to subvert like these narratives that people have about different, you know, communities. And that's not true. Like, to me, it's just simply not true. And so what would happen if I wrote a story that showed that, and also shows like the complexities of, as a Black American woman, like what it means to date, how people perceive us and what the truth is in that. And so, yeah.
Was there a scene in either Love Radio or This Could Be Forever that was particularly fun for you to write?
Oh, yeah, I have for both. Because I always have a fun scene. And this is a fun question. In Love Radio, it was the braid scene. So for people who have not read it, Danny is trying so hard to flake on Prince because she is just convinced that she can't be into him whatsoever. So she makes up an excuse, which is a valid excuse. She had to take her braids out. They were looking bad. She had to take them out. But in response to that, because Prince, his mother has MS and he's a caregiver in ways, he was sort of used to doing that before. So he offers to take her braids out, and he recognizes that it's a really great moment for them to spend hours together and for him to get to know her, and they will just be able to talk and get to know each other. So that was my favorite scene to write. And This Could Be Forever, it was the meet cute. It was the tattoo parlor. And that was because it was so much fun to like be into this guy who's like tatting you up and like immediately. But also it was fun because I was trying to, and I'm always trying to do this in YA, is like, what is that scene, that chemistry scene where it's like you realize like, oh, something is changing between the two characters. And for me, writing stories that center Black female characters first and foremost, and then writing the guys, I wanted to show like the tenderness of men in a way where it's like, it's not so like, you know, like sexually charged, you know, but it's really more about like, the chemistry is so ever present, and it's very clear that this guy is into her, and that tenderness is like how he's showing how much he cares.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that tenderness connection, I also have like a favorite scene that for one to read from If This Could Be Forever.
Okay.
It's not too long after they meet cute, but it's when so Deja is an absolutely phenomenal small business owner who makes her own homemade skincare products, and she's like talking about it with Raja, and she reads Raja for using body wash on his face. And as someone who only recently started having a skincare routine for the first time in my life,
I'm so proud of you.
I was just like, that is so relatable.
Oh gosh.
So
I love that.
skincare is necessary for
Incredible.
everyone and anyone.
Everyone and anyone.
Yes.
And you know, guys can sometimes come a little late to it. I feel like part of writing that scene was because I felt like so many women I knew were talking about having to explain like skincare process to the men that they were dating. And I'm like, oh, that's so true. And so yeah,
that's usually how it
yeah, it is.
That
Yeah,
is how
personal
it
experience as well. So yeah, that's why I wanted to write that scene. So I'm so happy that you love it.
Yes, very relatable.
Yeah. I do also have to say, like, speaking to your point about tenderness, I also loved how in This Could Be Forever when Raja takes Deja on their first date and like plans and takes her all around the city and like it's like, no, I really didn't, like, this was just off the cuff, like I didn't really plan. And meanwhile it's like very clearly planned out,
like super
So,
stressed out.
I don't know, it just I love it because it's true, you don't often get to see that as much, but it's it was awesome.
Oh,
So
thank
cute.
you both.
Both him and Prince have a lot of strategy, it seems,
Yes.
when it comes to planning out dates.
It's true.
Yes.
So,
It's very important.
It's true.
Guys, plan stuff.
Plan. A little bit of planning.
A
goes
little
way.
bit. I know you, and you know what? It might not be your thing, but
Yes.
just in the courting phase
Yeah.
of. I mean, period. You should constantly be courting.
Yes.
Your mate, but there is an element to like planning and like what it can become, and also I think it's something good in like. You can plan a little bit. It doesn't have to be these like ridiculous dates. Like a lot of what I'm trying to show in both books is that you could plan free dates, you know what I mean? Or very cheap dates.
Yeah.
And they can still be super romantic and very fun and very memorable.
For sure. It's not about, not necessarily about expensive. It's
Exactly.
just thoughtfulness.
Thoughtfulness,
Thoughtfulness and a skincare routine.
Yes.
And then
Good
you'll be
skincare
good.
routine.
You'll be good to go. Okay, so last question. We talked about favorite tropes earlier. Do you have a least favorite?
So this is gonna be funny, especially for you. I'm the only reason why I'm writing this is the only reason why I'm saying this is because I wrote it. And that is insta-love. I will say no, I am reformed, so that is very important to say.
No longer a full insta-love hater, but
Yeah. And it's because I didn't get it. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, you don't, in theory, it's like, you don't know this person. How do you you just think they're cute.
Come on,
like, that's what I thought. But what I realized in writing This Could Be Forever, once I realized all the beats that I wanted to write to tell this story, it was like, oh, they don't have time to fall in love. It's there. You know what I mean? It's got to be there. And so Deja's confidence made that easy because she's a woman who knows what she wants.
Yes.
And Raja was just smitten as soon as he met her. And as you read more of the book, I'm kind of showing that they're like, yo, this is wild. Like, are we really, we just met. Do we really, they're having these internal dialogues about, this is so weird. So now what I like to say is like, I'm trying to write like the cautious insta-love because I felt like for me, it felt somewhat irresponsible to write for teens when like the emotions are supercharged. But I think what This Could Be Forever, what I'm trying to show throughout the process is they're both making sure that it's not just infatuation. Even with Raja's cousins and sister, so sister cousins is what they're called in the book, they're even telling him, make sure you actually like her and you're not like in love with the idea of her or what you're seeing. So yeah, I'm reformed, but
Well,
that
also,
was
I feel
mine.
like once if the insta-love trope is done really well, then that makes all the difference.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Exactly. It's not like, oh my God, we're ahead. This is it. We're never like, you have to go into it. They need to be able to take a step back and be like, is this real? Like, I think it is, but you can't just go into it and be like, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done. We found our
We
person
found each other.
forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. Done well. It is excellent.
Yeah,
But
because it's supposed to be the start of the story, not just the
Exactly.
story.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's it. We've done it. Thank you, Ebony. This was so great. And we cannot wait for everyone to meet Raja and Deja, and This Could Be Forever. And also to go back, if you have not yet read Love Radio, go meet Danny and Prince, because if you haven't yet, you're missing out. But yeah, be sure to follow Simon Teen and Ebony on social media for all the latest, all the things that are coming up with YA romance. And don't forget to pick up your copies of This Could Be Forever and Love Radio.
Thank you both for having me.
Thank you.